over its crackdown on internet fraudsters. Owners of nightclubs in Akure, the Ondo State capital, have accused the EFCC of forcefully removing surveillance recordings at their facilities during a raid on some clubs in the state. They threatened to take legal action against the commission over the forceful invasion of their premises. But the EFCC denied any wrongdoing, insisting that its operatives, acting on intelligence reports, raided the two nightclubs to arrest 127 persons accused of being internet fraudsters and allegedly holding Yahoo parties in the state. Let's share the story of the club owners by TVC News. Ayodeji Murade with you, and we'll be back.
The doors raised by Saturday's raid of two nightclubs by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in Akure, Ondo State capital, is yet to settle. 127 persons suspected to be internet fraudsters were arrested during the operation. The raid sparks a protest by a group of youth in Akure who are venting their anger against the mode of operation adopted by the anti-graft agency. A march with placards with inscriptions on the streets of Akure. These protesting youths are complaining about the manner in which the EFCC invaded some of the nightclubs.
I was the DJ playing at that moment. They collected my laptop. They took my phone from me. They brutalized me. They laid me on the floor, handcuffed me to the ground.
You said you are doing Yahoo party. Who is doing Yahoo party? Nobody is doing Yahoo party. A guy have a bachelor party at a signature, and here in About has been the best club ever in Ondo.
The EFCC's raid also attracted reactions from lounge and nightclub owners, most especially those whose clubs were affected. While counting the losses, they scolded the style used by EFCC, which led to the destruction of their properties.
They should go about it in a professional manner. That's what we are saying, not the commando gangster style. At one point, the customers were scared. They felt assassins gained access into the club because they were masked, and they started kicking down tables. Expensive drinks that had not been opened, they kicked them down.
Each of these rooms, when they couldn't open with their boot, bow. They broke everything. I later understood that all my officers, all my staff, all the guests were made to lie down, face down.
We are here to let the whole world know that we are not too happy with what happened. And I was told through the report that EFCC, whatever they have done here, they are denying it now, that it's never happened. We have evidences, we have witnesses.
They are considering legal action against the operation by the anti-graft agency, which they described as barbaric. Ayodeji Murade, your TVC News, Akure.
The truth of the matter is that the commission did very, very diligent surveillance for more than 6 weeks. It was not a one-off thing. It was the fruit of our reconnaissance, our surveillance, intelligence over time, lasting about 6 weeks. You know, it was a party scene, and our intelligence showed that all of the people, the 127 suspects that were arrested, they were in that party.
All right, gentlemen, there have been diverse reactions to this matter, but I thought EFCC banned sting operations at night, but I mean...
well, for a nightclub, it would have been impossible for you to do such an operation during the day. So I see this as an exception. But the challenge there with this operation is that the EFCC is failing to listen to the voice of those who are on the streets and who have video evidence to back up all that transpired that day.
The EFCC official said it's stage managed.
Well, I don't know how you stage manage what we can see live, how they were shooting. I don't know how many of those videos you saw, but I saw one person who was in a house by the window, showing them drive out of that place recklessly in people's vehicles that they took from there, shooting pa, 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 in the night. The question has been asked over and over, and nobody will fault the EFCC fighting cybercrime. We are told that we lose up to $500 million yearly to cybercrime. Nobody is against that. But these things must be done in a way that you don't even scare away investors. For instance, that's one of those clubs also had hotel facility. They went into some of the rooms that night. Some of the operatives went in. And you see, one of the things I say to those who sit in the office to coordinate things like this is that you should also give those who are victims the benefit of the doubt, especially knowing what these operatives can be up to. As I came here this afternoon in a Uber, you needed to see the way one man that is a police officer, it's not a constable, police officer, how he handled his gun menacingly trying to stop the Uberman who was not even speeding. So some of these things, those who sit in the office, they don't pay attention to. And that's why it's bringing bad image, bad publicity to an organization that is doing a good job. Because we can't allow these fraudsters to keep milking the economy and giving us bad reputation outside the country. But in doing it, those two clubs are not sure they will get patronage in the next few months. People will be scared to go out. Who will want to stay in an hotel that EFCC came to and turned everywhere upside down? We've got to do better with what they call intelligence gathering than this. I go to nightclubs too. I doubt if there is anybody here who has not been to a nightclub among those of us who are discussing. Not even BK who is in Abuja. So no, Mika can't tell me that. We've come a long way. We've come a long way.
All right.
So we've got to be able to put things in proper perspective so that Nigeria is trying to develop its economy, especially the nightlife. We are trying to tell people that there is no more danger. We are away from insecurity. And one of the ways you prove it is by having a nightlife. You know?
All right. Let me ask you, BK, some Nigerians have said there is no right abuse anywhere. EFCC is only doing its job backed up by law. How do you react to this?
You see, when you look at the fact that we have literally almost made it seem like advance fee fraud is no longer a bad thing. We have literally almost canonized fraudulent people. We talk about the need for a moral rebirth. We see parents proud of the fact that their children are Yahoo boys, fraudsters. We have a situation now whereby Yahoo boys have their own training schools. They train people as young as 17 and unleash them as graduates of their reprehensible training into the world. It is getting to that point that people do not even value hard work anymore. People even call going to school a scam. They don't value education anymore. They just want to be involved in advanced free fraud. And the society embraces them with open arms. We have to find a way to stop this nonsense that is going on. I do not approve of some of the heavy-handed methods of the EFCC. But in the same way, I hate with passion advance-free fraudsters. Whatever can be done to stop them, because we're almost losing the war. Every unemployed graduate now thinks that, almost every unemployed graduate thinks that it makes sense to be involved in advance-free fraudsters. And even people who have good jobs, some of them are getting involved. So the society is losing the battle. Parents are not playing their roles anymore. Now the EFCC, these kind of raids are not limited to Ondo State. In Kubwa, in Abuja here, they raided some of these guys. They raided them in Ada George Road in Port Harcourt. So it's like this current leadership of the EFCC is determined, just the same way it's determined to stop the abuse of the Naira. It seems determined now to ensure that these advance-free fraudsters do not have the freedom to operate the way they've been operating for years. So, yes, it is not good to go into an hotel and tell everyone to lie down. You must identify the fraudsters that you are looking for. You must identify them so that there's no collateral damage, so that innocent people do not suffer as a result of your raid. The EFCC should clean up its acts and find a way to conduct these operations without subjecting innocent patrons of hotels to unnecessary embarrassment, unnecessary disgrace. You can't tell people not to lodge in hotels. I was in Kogi State, I had to lodge in an hotel. So it will happen. It's not everyone who goes into an hotel that is a fraudulent person. So in conducting their raids, they have to be more careful so that they don't cause innocent people to suffer. But as parading these boys and guests, I am all for it. I've seen hotels where you see underage people dominating the hotel, bringing even kids as young as 15 with them. I mean, so the society has to stand up against this kind of aberrant behavior. So I support these raids, but the EFCC must find a way to conduct these raids in a much more responsible manner.
From where BKO stops, do you agree that criminal profiling is one of the biggest challenges we have here?
Yes.
And that continues to hamper effective criminal investigation?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. You cannot fight cybercrime, drug trafficking, smuggling, human trafficking, some of these heinous crimes, even currency counterfeiting. You cannot tackle some of these heinous crimes, with any more effective method than intelligence. Your method must be intelligence-driven. You must infiltrate their ranks. Because if you have to announce your presence everywhere you go, people will just turn you to a laughing stock. Because what happens is that, of course, even the EFCC chairman has said recently that the ranks of the agency have been infiltrated and some officers have been compromised. So, I remember what the police officer told me, some time back that, they had actually planned, there was a plan, to raid some antisocial elements, they had done intelligence and everything, and they shared it. They have a WhatsApp group, within some of those officers. They shared operational, everything, what they were going to do. But the interesting thing was that within that group, some people gave information to those guys, and they disappeared. Before the police officers got there, the guys had vanished into thin air, if you permit that cliche. So the point is that announcing your presence by shooting heavily and all of that will just create the impression that, well, you are not really serious about dealing a decisive blow on the real issue. These are just symptoms. Young people getting into this. These are symptoms of a serious malaise, and which is the fact that the system is broken. We worship money in this country. let us be honest with ourselves and see if Yahoo boys are some, invisible elements floating about. They're all around us. People benefit from them. Parents encourage them. They throw money about. And so many people would know that these guys are into this kind of business and say, I won't associate with such people. So many. So the point is that you must deal with it on different fronts. Yes, you raid nightclubs, but you have to do it in a discreet manner. No. Because some people go there to relax, even maybe foreigners go there to relax, and you might end up getting into some trouble by breaching human rights, because that's what people are complaining about, breaching human rights. You go to some places like Lekki and all that, you break into people's houses. You don't do that. You don't do that because ask yourself, how many times have security agencies, even during military, even during the military era, they broke into people's houses and all of that? What happened? So I think the EFCC should, get its act together and find more discreet ways of dealing with this without breaching human rights. I wish them all the best, but they can do better, certainly.
All right. I mean, we've all agreed that, yes, EFCC is doing its job, but must definitely do better. All right, gentlemen, there is a common